Blaziken is a niche setup sweeper that uses speed boost to become unstoppable. It can be tough to maneuver Blaziken around its counters, but a well-played Blaziken can crush entire teams. There are two main sets to try with Blaziken. Both want speed boost. The first is physical, the second is special. The physical set runs Protect and Sword Stance to set up, and then sweeps with your choice of Close Combat, Flare Blitz, and coverage moves. Life Orb is the most common item for this set, but Leftovers and Focus Sash are also good. The second set is a special attacker that uses Scope Lens alongside Overheat. This one is really weird and it's hard to find much information about. It's not on the Smogon strategy decks page. I found a r/Stunfist post about it, but the post was deleted and the account was deleted. So all I have is an MV video where he uses it on a Sun team, which I've linked in the description. Nevertheless, you can see that it accounts for 26% of the Blaziken in OU. The typical moveset is Aura Sphere, Overheat, Focus Energy, and Protect. And the idea is that with Focus Energy and Scope Lens, you max out your crit rate, so every move will crit. And then you can spam Overheat, because critical hits ignore the special attack drop. I'm not entirely sure how competitive the set is, but it's really fun to use. Blaziken really likes an offensive terror. It likes to terrestrialize into a fire type or a fighting type to boost its stab moves to unfathomable power. Blaziken exploits passive Pokemon to set up for victory. It destroys steel and dark types, which are very numerous in OU, and it has the rare power to outspeed Choice Scarf Pokemon and Dragapult after a few speed boosts. Blaziken's resistance to Sucker Punch is incredible because priority is one of the best ways to deal with it once it comes online, and Sucker Punch is by far the most common priority move in the tier. Tragically though, there are many Pokemon in OU that crush Blaziken's hopes and dreams, and viability ranking. Dragonite can stop Blaziken in its tracks with multi-scale and extreme speed, but the biggest problems are the strong physical walls in the tier. Dondozo and Scaladurge are totally unaware of Blaziken's setup, and their resistances make them nigh on impossible for the chicken to break through. Moreover, Moltres wins the matchup of Flaming Chicken versus Flaming Chicken, unless Blaziken drops another move for Stone Edge. Problem is, whatever move you drop will just open up new problems for Blaziken. With so many other great setup sweepers in the tier, it can be really hard to justify choosing Blaziken. Blaziken has zero defensive utility, so it is only good on offense structures, particularly with screens or Aurora Veil support. Blaziken's favourite partners are offense staples like Kingambit and Landorus Therian, and then Aurora Veil menaces like Alolan Ninetales, Kyurem, and Latias. Offense and hyper offense are fairly flexible, so try mixing and matching these favourite teammates to find the best combination for your playstyle. Zamazenta and Ironmoth are poor teammates because they each kind of do half of what Blaziken does, but way better. Zamazenta is a stronger, faster, way more bulky fighting type sweeper, and Ironmoth is a stronger, special fire type sweeper. Blaziken has this very narrow niche of being fire and fighting type, and snowballing with speed boost. Don't use Blaziken on bulky structures or stall. Again, it is defensively useless. Here are 3 tips for using Blaziken in battle. 1. Protect and then click buttons. Protect is a critical move on Blaziken because it gives you a turn to activate speed boost safely. It's almost always worth clicking the first turn you bring Blaziken in. Just be aware that your opponent might see it coming and use the turn to set up hazards or switch to a counter. 2. Hard commit. On hyper offense teams, switching is for the weak. Blaziken is an incredibly unreliable Pokemon, and half the time it will die before doing anything. In the situation where you've actually managed to get set up, it's usually a good idea to just do as much damage as you can and then sacrifice Blaziken for momentum, rather than switching out and preserving it for the unlikely possibility that you get a second chance to click Sword Stance safely. 3. Your fate is decided at team preview. The philosophy of hyper offense is that if you put 5 Pokemon on a team and they all have a high chance of doing nothing but a slim chance of instantly winning the game, you end up having a pretty good chance that at least one of your Pokemon will instantly win the game. There'll be some matchups where Blaziken is pointless from turn 1. If you see a Scaladurge or a Moltres on the enemy team, look elsewhere for your win con. Blaziken's never getting through. There will be other matchups where Blaziken is phenomenal. At the moment the battle begins, before you've chosen your lead, try to figure out which Blaziken timeline you are in. Overall, I think the idea of Blaziken is better than the Pokemon itself. It's too frail, too predictable, and too constrained by 4 move slot syndrome. It is usable in OU, but only barely, and usually you just wish you had Zamazenta or Iron Moth instead. It gets a B- rank, but it's really fun to use, and there's nothing quite like setting up a bunch of speed boosts and sweeping through an enemy team. All that's left is to give Blaziken a try for yourselves. Like and subscribe, and click Protect for more OU guides. And thanks for watching, everyone.